sin algo? Bueno. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks for joining us for our sip into Shabbat. Hope that was a good way to start off your evening. And we are going to start off with Leo over here helping me sing tonight. And he's going to be starting us off on page 128 with Hine Ma Tov.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד.
We are going to turn now to page 142 for us welcoming Shabbat by singing Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon. ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. מואחל לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Turn back to Lachado D as we sing about how coming together for Shabbat, it's like being at a wedding. It's a joyful event. It's a loving event that we get to witness something special. We'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
לך דודי לקראת שבת, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם לתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, קיר מקורך ברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. סופה מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי מוני שיר דברי, כבוד עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
I'll invite you to rise in body or in spirit and face the entrance as we greet Shabbat.
בואי ושלום אתן אתפלה, גם בשמחה ומצח עולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. We are going to now bring some light into our Shabbat. Let's see. Elle, do you want to light the candles for us? Come on up. You've been awesome lately, being here a bunch and super positive. We always appreciate that. I'll give you that honor this week. Sometimes you have to hold it on the wick or go over it a couple times because it doesn't always catch first try as a warning.
Where am I supposed to?
Right there, exactly. There you go. You might want to just make sure that it stays lit. Perfect. Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you. We're going to turn now to the Hatzi Kaddish, page 144.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ואלמד ורח חירותי ועליך מלכותי. וחיי הום וביום אחד ולחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובשמם קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמא מאיה. יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתקדר ויתעלה ויתקלל שמי דקדושה בריחו לילה מכל בחנתה ושירתה. תושבחת ונחמת דמירה בעלמא ויאמרו
Amen. I'll invite you to rise in body or in spirit for our call to worship on page 146, the Baruch Hu.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. We'll turn to page 149, and let's read together at the top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo el chai v'kayam tamidim lo chalenu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'arif aravim. Page 150. Ahavat olam. Okay. Ahavat olam. Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Ukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Al-Kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shalvenu, uvkumenu nasiach behukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uvmitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, Ve'ahavtecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבביך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננת על לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך על בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרת לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתן על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאת אתכם אל מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohim, Amen. When our people left Egypt, what they realized they were doing was that they were taking responsibility for their own happiness and for their own future, and not standing back and saying, I have no control. Because that's what the life of a slave was for hundreds of years. It was a moment where they realized they did have self-control, and they could choose to turn back, or they could make the courageous decision to go forward and try to do something better for themselves, but also something better for their children as well. And so we need to think about, when we go into challenging moments, what's our responsibility? Not only for us, but for those who depend on us too, so that their tomorrows can be better than today. We turn to the Mi Chamocha on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך לאופניה, בוקר לפני משה, ילנו ואמרו, אדוני אלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, כפעלה אדוני את יעקב, גלו מעט חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני על ישראל.
We'll turn to the Hashkivenu, page 160, and pray for everyone, especially those in Israel, to be able to go down tonight and sleep and wake up tomorrow, sleep peacefully through the night, and wake up tomorrow to a more peaceful future. Page 160. Sure. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Ushmor Tzeteinu Uvoeinu Lechaim Shalom Me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. We turn to page 162 at the top for Vishamru, and we remember that just as we, the Jewish people, have kept Shabbat for thousands of years, Shabbat has kept us as well together for thousands of years. Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובן בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
I'll invite you to rise and bow your in spirit for the Amidah, page 164.
אדוני צפתי תפתח ופיגיד תהילתך.
Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכה חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גולם לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עושה ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועצת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי יעקב אתה רב להושיע, ומוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמת על החיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחייך הכל.
170.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יבשנה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We turn to page 172 and we continue silently through page 180, or you can use this as an opportunity for your own prayers and reflections. And when you're finished, you may be seated.
עושה שלום מרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום מרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Amen. We're going to turn our thoughts to those who are in need of healing of the mind, body, and spirit, and those who are in a period of recovery as well in our community. This week we think of Adi Bat Romit, Aryeh ben Yaakov Mordechai, Baruch ben Sarah, Gilachaya bat Mordechai Lev v'Gileah, Gittaleah bat Masha Hana, Edkefega bat Gittel, Michael ben Zev, Rachel Leah bat Hana, Rachel Iba bat Moshe Menachem Mindel v'Gittel, Suai bat Sarah, Tovachava bat Haya Rachel, Svi ben Yosefa, Yaakov Avadia ben Ruth, Israel Beryl ben Cherka, Sarah Bell, Maren Goffin, Teresa Goldberg, Julie Jacobson, Fran Lappin, Tanner Light, Megan Magleby, Judy Pedersen, Sue Prodis, Barbara Schalheim, Penny Spector, Nancy Sterling, Adina Stern, Sue Oak Choi Taking, Stephanie Walsh, Heidi Weinsoft, Michael Winston, and Judy Wolf. And if you have a name to add, I'll invite you to share when I look in your direction. Hello?
Sam Bolano.
Carl?
Benjamin Ben Chaim Ben Corian.
Yosef ben Abraham.
And if if you are watching on our live stream, you are also invited to share a name. Our prayer for healing can be found in the middle of page 371. Misheberach avotenu mekor habraha limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habraha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. You, Leo. Our Torah portion this week, Shmini, we have a rather peculiar thing that occurs. And it's a cruel moment, if you will. It's a heartbreaking moment. And what it was that the sons of Aaron, Nadav and Abihu, they bring an offering that was considered a foreign fire to the tabernacle, the Mishkan, and then when they do this, it's assumed by the rabbis that they were perhaps intoxicated while they did this, and that was why they made such a mistake, was that they were maybe drunk while they were doing this. And because right afterwards it says, don't drink while you're making offerings, sacrifices, and stuff. Which, by the way, I tell people that's why you don't leave services to go drink like some folks do, because that is, our offerings today are blessings to God in worship. But anyhow, it says you don't do that afterwards. And we read that Nadav and Abihu are consumed all of a sudden by this massive fireball, and that they're incinerated as a result of this, and as punishment for bringing a foreign flame into the Mishkan. And this feels like a harsh punishment. After all, they just made a mistake. And I know certainly, it's like I tell all of our B'nai Mitzvah students, if they say, Rabbi, I'm scared I'm going to make a mistake, I say, guess what? I do this every week. I'm a professional, and I sometimes make mistakes too. I'll say the wrong word, or I'll forget that, this week is Rosh Chodesh, and I skipped the blessing for the new month. I was like, I make mistakes too. People make mistakes. So they make a mistake, and yet they were incinerated as a result. Again, feels awfully harsh. Well, I remember about 10 years ago, there were a series, it was like on the news every night, and people were saying, what is going on? Of commercial airline pilots who, as they were about to go fly a plane, turned out to be incredibly intoxicated and got arrested. And, of course, lost their ability to be a pilot, but also some of them got incarcerated as a result of this. Now, it's not like they actually flew the plane, though. Do you think that's fair for them? Some people are nodding. Or should they have just, gone a warning? No? Well, why not? Why is that such a big deal? What's the worst thing that could happen? They actually fly it. Well, you got autopilot, you got co-pilot. What's the big deal? What could happen? They could crash the plane and everyone could die. And we have to think about that with lots of jobs that we have. Maybe it's not flying a plane, but my stove broke, and we have a gas stove top, an electrical oven. We have a repairman coming on Monday to fix that. He's not flying a plane, but so what if he shows up drunk? What's the worst that could happen? He could potentially blow up the house, or he could hook up the gas line wrong and there could be a gas leak in the house, or start an electrical fire or something like that. And that can actually cost people their lives. Now, while my career can be one of high stress and high demand, I'm fortunate in the degree that, unlike a doctor or other physicians, usually if I make a mistake, nobody is going to die from that. The consequences are not as severe. My family members who are doctors have to carry malpractice insurance in case something like that happens. I, as a rabbi, don't have to carry malpractice insurance because there's not too many damages if I accidentally pronounce a word wrong or something like that in a prayer. But for the high priest back then, their job was incredibly serious. People's lives did depend on it. Because what the people of Israel believed was that through doing these offerings, it truly meant life or death for the community. Sorry, a tickle in my throat. And if this was not done properly, the prayers of the Israelites wouldn't be answered, or God might be upset. That was their theology back then. And so, what could be the consequences of that? There could be a plague. There could be drought or famine. Or, as we see like later on in the Tanakh, the Israelites were going through the wilderness, and they were fighting in battles, and they go into the land of Israel, and they're fighting battles, and they are winning battle after battle after battle. And then there's a battle where they win, and God says, don't take anything that you're not supposed to. And there's one soldier who sees a shiny object and goes, I'm going to take this, and sneaks it into his pocket. And the next battle, the Israelites lose badly. People die. And the Israelites go, what happened? I thought God was on our side. And then they find out that this guy stole something when he wasn't supposed to. And that was their explanation for what happened in that battle. And so for Nadav and Abihu, when they're doing this offering in this way, they are actually putting the lives of the people who depend on them at risk. Now, like I said, I don't feel I have a job where if I screw up, anybody's going to die. But am I responsible for people's lives on an everyday basis? Yeah, a lot of us are. If you drove your car here tonight, you are responsible for other people's lives. How often have we heard of or have we known a person who was doing absolutely nothing wrong, was doing everything right, and they were hit and killed by a drunk driver or a distracted driver or something like that? So when we think about what we do on an everyday basis, again, we can read this part of the Torah. We can read it and say, wow, that seems extreme. That is disproportionate because they made a mistake. But we have to think about what the Israelites thought the consequences to that mistake could be. Truly life or death. And for each of us as a result, we need to think about when we go about the world, when we drive our cars, when we close the door at night, and if we remember to lock it or not, or just even checking in on our neighbors and our friends, or if it's something like we do in our job, like again, that stove repairman. If we aren't bringing our full focus to it, could we be endangering others in our community? And what we read about in the Talmud is that it says that a person who has killed an innocent person, it's as if they've destroyed all of humankind. But if a person saves another person's life, it's as if they have saved all of humanity and that saved the world entire, is what it said. Because think about it. Every person out there probably is somebody's entire world or somebody's entire, one of the most important people to them. So when we go about our days, we need to think about how we do so responsibly, how we care for the people around us responsibly. Because even if it isn't obvious, like, oh, okay, I was paying attention while I was driving, or something like that, or I'm a stove repairman and I hooked up the stove correctly. I'm a pilot and I managed to show up to my airplane without being intoxicated. Just by having that type of thoughtfulness and intention and doing the right thing, without realizing it, we could be saving the world entire over and over again. Shabbat Shalom. I want to thank Leo for beautifully leading alongside me tonight with his beautiful voice. And also, I always love to acknowledge our staff. Leo is on our team as well as a part of our custodial team. We love having him here and his family here. Also, a big thanks to John, who's our security guard tonight. And this is going to be my last Shabbat for a while because I go on sabbatical next week. For in case you don't know or didn't read my bulletin article, I'll be taking. I always wonder if people read those, and the number of folks I've gotten who are like, "Oh, your sabbatical sounds awesome!" I'm like, "Oh, people actually do read those. Fantastic!" So I'll be next week. So I have every 7 years when you're a rabbi, you customarily get somewhere between depending on the synagogue, a take his.
All right. Is this the?
Okay. It died somewhere along my sermon.
Well, Rabbi, and thank you so much for leading us. What a beautiful voice. And we will miss you. And you'll notice when you come back, everything will be disorganized, and you'll be like, they really do need me.
There you go.
So, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And
You talked for a while.
okay. Well, so thanks for coming to this. You have a drink before Shabbat. It was really fun. And tomorrow, I want to invite everybody who doesn't 100% understand the structure of the service in Shabbat, come at 9 o'clock so the rabbi will explain what goes on. It's a very complicated service. And so that'll start at 9. And then after the service, the rabbi's doing another class on Rashi. So, you know, one of the great mitzvahs in Shabbat is to study the Torah. So you can do that. Other upcoming services and programs include the Kolomi Book Club meets next Monday on the 13th to discuss the book Songs for the Brokenhearted by Ayelet Sabari. And then the Community Yom HaShoah commemoration is on April 16th. Does everybody know what Yom HaShoah is? It's the it's the remembrance of the Holocaust. Registration's open for a great time at our Night in Monte Carlo annual fundraiser on May 31st. Sponsorships are available, and if you can solicit items to bring for that, that would be great. Registration for our summer Shabbaton, that's on July 31st to August 2nd, is wide open. Where are we having that? Up in the mountains somewhere?
I don't know. I'll be on my second month of sabbatical, and I'll have learned how to draw boundaries at that point, so I won't be there.
We'll call you back to say
Right.
no. It will be, usually it's at a campsite or something. It's really fun. It's fun for kids. Jordanelle. Okay, there we go. Up at the lake. It'll be wonderful. And registration for our congregational trip to the Jewish Heart of the Baltics in May of 2027 is filling up. I'm going to try to go on that. And if you guys are interested, sign up now because that will sell out.
It's almost sold out already.
There's a lot of people from Lithuania whose grandparents
Yes.
were from Lithuania.
Yeah,
So,
30 people have already signed up.
okay. So,
There's
so
37
sign up if
spots.
you're interested. Okay. For more details about these and other events, please refer to your Shabbat announcements on our website. And as always, we are so grateful for everyone who comes here and allows us to have a minyan and worship together, and also everybody that helps support the staff, the people stepping in and helping out. And thank you all. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks, Carl. We will move into the concluding part of our service on the bottom of page 586 for Aleinu, and I'll invite you to rise in body or in spirit. There you go.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמספקות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל חמונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומסתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמן והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. At this time, we think of those whom death has recently taken from us, and those who've died in this season in years past, and those who we draw into our hearts with our own as we remember them. If you hear the name of a loved one, you're invited to rise upon hearing their name. In the period of Shloshim, the 30-day period of mourning, we remember our Ed Bronsky, our beloved congregant and husband of Marcia Bronsky, and also Fedor Shaskov, a friend and longtime employee of Congregation Kolami. And this week, we commemorate the following Yortzites anniversary of the passing of these loved ones: Morris Arnovich, Rose Berry, Linda Bushkoff, Marietta Cuomo, Francis Dolowitz, Barry Michael Ehrlich, Frey Einhorn, Stephen Meyer Goldberg, Harry L. Gus, Jenny Hirsch, Gabrielle Janov, Jason Edgar Leroy Jensen, Louise Kaplan, Hannah Kremen, Maria Sherashersky Kushner, Matthew R. Larson, Thomas Grant Lefevre, Ellis Levinson, Edward Levy, Mose Lewis, John Maas, Jeannie R. Marks, William Milkoff, Jake Alliner, Betty Organic, David Plotkin, Alan Posen, Joe Rubenstein, Samra Sakai, Sandra Schmuckler, Eric Silberberg, John Sugar, Tilly Vaca, Celine Winesoft, Morris Weiss, and Richard Urich. And if you have a name to add, I'll invite you to do so when I look in your direction. And if you're watching on our live stream, you're also invited to share a name. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. If you're in mourning or it's your tradition to do so, you're invited to rise. We're on page 598. Ikadal v'ikadash shmeiraba be'alma divrach v'yurte v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayeh dehol Beit Yisrael ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru Yehi shmei rabba mivrach le'olam omei omaya Yitbarach v'yishtaba v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitoleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah barihu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbehata v'ne'emata da'amiram be'alma v'imru Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'haim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru O say shalom b'mromav, Uya say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who are mourning comfort the bereaved among us. Again we say, Amen. Leo, ¿tiene una canción última para nosotros? Adon Olam, page 625.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארם והוא אחד ועם שני לרם שלו להחמירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז מעם ישראל והוא אלי והגולי וצור חבלי ויצרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי כוסי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, בידו אף כתרוכי, בתשען, ויעירה, ואין ברוכי, גבייתי, אדוני לי, אדוני לי, ולא יירא.
I'll invite you to rise by your spirit for Kiddush. There you go. Okay. Va'yev v'voke yom hashishi v'chu hashemayim v'haaretz v'chol svam v'elohim b'yom hashvi melakto asher asa v'yishbo b'yom hashvi kol melakto asher asa v'yivarech Elohim et yom hashvi v'kadesh oto hivo shava mikol melakto asher bara Elohim asot savri Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon in hilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehillah lemikrae kodesh zeher litziat mitzrayim Kivanu varta veotanu kidashta mikol hamim veshabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashavat. Amen. L'chaim. Now, every week we are treated to, and I feel so fortunate to have some of Moshe's delicious challah, but I will be honest, of all the weeks of the year, the Shabbat right after Pesach is the one that I appreciated the most. Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lehem min haaretz. Amen. B'teavon, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Eshkoach. Muchísimas gracias.
She's from Brazil too.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys meet? Yeah. We talk a little Portuguese?
Oh, sure. 2 weeks ago, there was a partner 10 inches wide.
Obrigado. Obrigado. Bom, bom vê-los aqui.
Sim.
Quando você planejou viajar aqui, você sabia que você vai fazer as... Não?
Eu vim e o Rabino recebeu minha família aqui e vim participando, até que um dia o Rabino estava com a voz muito ruim, ele estava com problema na garganta e tal. Ele passou por mim, falou comigo e falei, Rabino, eu posso te ajudar em algumas coisas se você quiser. Ele, ok, ótimo, então.
Não entendi exatamente, mas ela vai traduzir para mim.
Desculpa, eu falei errado.
His voice was not good, and then he's like, yeah, I can help you.
Ok.
And they said, não, você cantou como se tipo já cantasse tipo uma década.
Muito
bom.
Então, às vezes eu ajudo o Rabino, de vez em quando.
E você cantou no Brasil?
Já.
No Brasil também.
Algumas... Pouco tempo.
Muito bom. Aproveitamos.
Foi uma surpresa,
que bom.
tipo, foi, what?
Não. Que bom ver vocês. E amanhã vocês vêm?
Acho que não. Mas a gente acho que vai começar a vir aos poucos. A gente acaba, tipo, chegou a 2 meses e meio, então a gente tá aos poucos. Ainda tá comprando mobília, fazendo, sabe?
Eu sei como é isso.
Eu sei como é. O Rabino é muito legal. O Rabino é muito legal, muito legal. Muito legal.
E ele falou como você é espanhol?
Ajá.
Fala um pouco espanhol.
Porque porque o inglês para mim ainda é um pouco difícil.
Demora.
Algumas coisas eu não entendo. Então eu fico pensando, aí não dá tempo de pensar.
Também pra mim é
Traduzir.
português.
Português é mais difícil do que inglês.
Hã?
Eu acho que para ele aprender
Aprender
português é mais difícil.
dizem que sim.
Não. Eu acho que inglês é uma língua mais difícil de português.
Eu acho, eu concordo com você. Bastante, eu concordo.
Nossa.
Muito.
Tem muitos raízes